Welcome, beloved, to my diary. I'm Tatami. We are going to talk today about my cosmogram that I made for a bone throwing, um, cloth or an altar cloth, I guess, or I don't know. This could be a baby blanket, who knows? But at any rate, that's what I was using it for, was for bone throwing. And I wanted to design something that took inspiration from the Congo Cosmogram and the Cosmogram of Harlem. A cosmogram is like a 2D representation of your explanation of the spiritual world and the physical world, and it explains it in your own way. And so that's basically what this is. So the Congo cosmogram is the one you will usually see if you look up cosmograms. In general, it's typically it could be just drawn in the dirt outside with a circle and a cross, but online you usually see it with the red, black, white, and yellow, with the orange center. And this represents a lot of different things, but in basics, it represents, the life cycle, the seasons. They all kind of coincide together to go around. For example, the white down here represents winter, but also like elders, the way your hair turns white when you get older and you get ready to transition to the spirit realm. At any rate, I also combined it with the Harlem cosmogram, the cosmogram of Harlem, which was, I guess, blossomed from the someone read the poem of Langston Hughes that is called "The Negro Speaks of Rivers," and made a cosmogram on the floor of this building in Harlem. I want to say it's for like African American research or some sort of historical something. And it's on the floor of the building, and you could take tours of it, and the rivers come off of it. It's like there's a little island in the center shaped like the Jesus fish, then water out of it, and from that water blossoms four rivers: the Nile, the Euphrates, the Congo, and the Mississippi. And those rivers go down the hallways. And it's just a very beautiful piece of art when you look at it, very inspiring. And I wanted to put rivers on mine too, I knew. So I went ahead and chose to only put the Congo on this side, which is, I think, such an iconic river because it has this shape. And then also, most Black Americans are from West Africa, which is more, relevant to the Congo than, say, the Nile or the Euphrates River. And then I also felt that the Mississippi really was a significant river historically for us as well. So I went ahead and only used those. For the other spaces, I went ahead and put in these mountain range. Now, the mountain range, originally I was thinking of the Appalachians and how a lot of our culture was able to be maintained there just due to the fact that so many people who lived in those mountain ranges were so cut off from everyone else. They weren't being brought plumbing and electricity, and so they lived lives much the same as their ancestors did well into the 70s and 80s. And you can find pockets of like Texas and other places in the South like this too. But the Appalachians definitely had a lot of that and was able to maintain a lot of that knowledge, not just for the Black community, but also for Native and white communities as well. The poor white community often gets kind of left behind as well. So they were able to, really continue on a lot of conjure and other and memories, stories, that sort of thing, which I think is so powerful. But also there is a significance here for the Sierras, which I think coming west, a lot of Black people had a lot of influence over here too. And crossing that mountain range really changed a lot of people's lives because they were able to buy their freedom, fight for their freedom, leave and never come back. And so people were able to change their fortunes. Some people still, unfortunately, obviously ran into a lot of BS. But at the end of the day, I do think that those mountain ranges hold a lot of significance for us here. And then finally, I put up top a tree, which I felt the tree, obviously has its spiritual symbolism, but beyond that, this is supposed to kind of represent these cotton trees that I saw from Africa. And so these cotton trees stunned me when I first saw them because, first of all, they were used in such a spiritual, positive context. They have these goddesses and ancestors attached to them. They grow in the middle of these cities, huge, and people come and leave their offerings still and lay hands on the roots. And it was just so beautiful to me to see this ancient tradition honoring cotton after my entire childhood of seeing the relationship my ancestors had with cotton here in the Americas. And so it was just it was like a healing revelation just to see, first off, like I already really had a special love of trees, but just to see this connection with something that I could kind of reclaim, which a lot of other people do reclaim. You can see on people's altars dried cotton all the time. I've never done it because it just, I had such an aversion. And so it really was healing for me to see that. And that kind of brings me to my little watermelon here because I've decided, fuck it, I'm reclaiming watermelon. I've decided it. It is done. I just don't get even how it's such a negative thing. It's like, oh, black people are lazy. Oh, haha, you're working so hard with your watermelons. Like, I don't even understand any of that. I just don't get it. And so I've decided I'm reclaiming it. I'm putting a little watermelon here in solidarity with that. And finally, the thing I wanted to show off for this was these little circles that you see. They do go through to the back. This is called Big Stitch Quilting, and it was my first time ever doing this and trying to get the front and the back together with this technique, and I really love it. So I really love this little thing that I made. I love all the little charms and curios I put inside of it. I'm not going to share them though because that's for if I ever decide to sell this one. I'm not even sure if I want to or if I want to keep this one for me. But whatever I decide to do, I know it will be a great choice. And yeah, I don't know. What do you all think? Uh, does this one make sense to you in a lot of ways? Oh, I also put these little flowers. I have to clip them. They're not done. But at any rate, I'm really excited. I think this one is really cool. And it's really fun to read on this cloth too. So as I practice, I might pull this one out. I might make another one. Who knows? Just who knows, At any rate, may your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads. Thank you for talking to me about my cosmogram, and I will see you next video.